Nebraska is still looking for a quarterback, apparently. They were pretty, so I do an Iowa show also on Tuesday. Just got done with that maybe 20, 25 minutes ago. There is no hint of Iowa, despite their offensive issues, which across the board, Iowa did not have as efficient or as explosive of an offense as Nebraska did. With all of its issues, there's no hint or trace of Iowa looking for a transfer quarterback. While Nebraska, it seems to be pretty well documented. They were interested in Keaton Slovis. And now I'm hearing, shoot.
Well,
the names is Clay.
Last night they offered
Casey Thompson.
And then last night they offered Chubba
Purdy from Florida State. Okay.
Yeah. So so in a nutshell, you just I think you just broke it down right there. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now. Obviously, Casey Thompson is a guy that has been in talks with Nebraska. Him and his camp, and there's absolutely there is interest on both sides of this. Casey Thompson just said just yesterday, Nebraska is right up in there. I mean, one of the top teams on his list right now. And then Nebraska went ahead last night and put an offer out to Chubba Purdy. So you have two guys right now. And the interesting thing about the Chubba Purdy offer is that when he was coming out of high school out of Gilbert, Arizona, he was being heavily recruited by Nebraska's new offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, to Pittsburgh. And, we know that Keaton Slovis was a target for Nebraska. And ironically, he is heading to Pittsburgh now. And so Chubba Purdy's only other offer that we know of in the transfer portal was from Pittsburgh. So a lot of things going on right now with that. Now, that being said, I think Casey Thompson would still be 1, and then Chubba Purdy would be 1A. But I'm not overlooking the fact that Nebraska is looking for 2 transfer quarterbacks right now out of the portal. I don't think that's unheard of at all, because if you want to break down that quarterback room at Nebraska right now, you have 2 scholarship quarterbacks coming back, and you have a scholarship quarterback coming in as a true freshman coming off of an ACL tear. So that room right now is it's pretty bleak, really. Because if you want to look, I'm not trying to overlook Logan Smothers or Heinrich Harbert, but if you want to go back a couple of years ago, when Logan Smothers committed to Nebraska, there were 5 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster. So, yeah, you're operating right now way below what you want to be operating at in that quarterback room. So I think Nebraska's got something going here, and I'm not trying to, I'm not making predictions or anything, or telling you to stand by, but you might be hearing something here this week. And Nebraska might grab 2 of these transfer quarterbacks out of the portal. And another interesting thing I'll throw in there about the Casey Thompson whole deal is that when he was coming out of high school, before he committed to Texas, he was heavily recruited and was heavily interested in Central Florida. And the recruiting coach for him was Scott Frost at Central Florida. So there's a relationship there. And like I said, there's a relationship with Purdy as well. So I'm just throwing that out there. Look out. Maybe Nebraska has 2 quarterbacks coming in to compete for the starting job next year.
Folks, please like the video. That's the first thing you can do for us. Just smash the like button. Also, let people know that we're here every Tuesday night talking Nebraska football, 6 Central every Tuesday night with Greg, talking up the Huskers. So the first time I saw Casey Thompson, I had heard about him. He was a big recruit, but he played in the 2020 Alamo Bowl against Colorado for Texas. And of course, Sam Ehlinger played forever. It seemed like he was a 17-year veteran at Texas, one of those guys that played constantly all the time, was a gamer, great quarterback, great college quarterback. Actually, Sam Ehlinger is getting a start for the Indianapolis Colts, plays at Carson Wentz this Sunday. But anyway, so Casey Thompson replaced Ehlinger when Ehlinger left the game in the Alamo Bowl. Casey Thompson comes in, and my goodness, I know it's a small sample size. He only threw 10 passes, went 8 for 10, but he was throwing NFL type throws, like anticipating receivers being here that were there when he released the ball, and navigating the pocket and throwing different arm angles. And he was splitting windows. It was an amazing display of 10 passes. So then he steps into this season, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where he lost the job in August camp to Hudson Card, another highly touted quarterback. But then Hudson Card had his issues in week 2 against Arkansas, and then Casey Thompson took over. And, he
only led the Big 12 in touchdown passes.
Exactly. Yes, he did. And I was a.
And with most of that, I mean, after the Oklahoma game, he was playing with a sore hand the rest of the season. So.
Yeah, he wasn't completely healthy. He didn't play all the games because Card got maybe 100 pass attempts himself. So it's not like he was chucking it the whole year. So he didn't start until week 3, and he had a huge game against Oklahoma, 28 for 34 with 5 touchdown passes, 388 yards.
Yeah, so he had 3 5-touchdown games this year altogether. I mean, yeah, you remember that Oklahoma-Texas game. That was a shootout, and he was going berserk. So, yeah. That's a guy that obviously a guy that's got some experience and has had some success. That's why I'm calling him 1, and I'm calling Purdy 1A. Because obviously when you're talking about Chubba Purdy compared to Casey Thompson, the sample size of games played, not even comparable right now, because Chubba Purdy hasn't played a whole lot of football yet for Florida State.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy in Casey Thompson that, again, the year before threw 6 touchdown passes, threw 4 in a bowl game, and then he comes into this season, leads the Big 12 in touchdown passes, even though he doesn't start every game, 65% completion percentage, 24 TDs, 9 picks. Versus Chubba Purdy, who got his playing time last season, 2020, had 2 games in which he had significant playing time, 12 for 21 against Pitt. This is an interesting stat line. Never seen this before. 12 for 28. Guess how many yards he passed for? 12 for 21 for 38 yards.
I was gonna say 40 something, but yeah, I knew
that's throwing some dump offs. But my goodness. So anyway, 12 for 21 for 38 yards. And then he had
field, for God's sake. So yeah,
he had a decent little outing against North Carolina State, 15 of 23 for $181 and 2 touchdowns.
But I think we all know that Florida State program has been
it's been rough.
Kind of a rough go at it. So, and I'm sorry I didn't watch any of those games, but yeah, I'm sure.
No, I haven't seen Chubba
that
Purdy.
Wasn't all on him. I mean, he was a 4-star. He was a 4-star coming out of Gilbert, Arizona. So obviously he's got some talent, and his brother was pretty darn successful at Iowa State here, not too far away in Ames, Iowa. So you forget about the career that his brother Brock had in Ames. So there's some pretty good lineage in there, and again, it just goes back to saying why not grab 2 quarterbacks out of the portal? Bring in competition. You know what? You need all the help you can get right now. Just infusing talent in to try to keep this thing moving forward. So if I'm a betting man, I think they're going to grab, and they have a really good shot at getting these 2 guys. Seriously. So I kind of like what's going on right now with it. After missing on some of these other guys that they had targeted that have signed elsewhere so far, and another thing is too that Purdy says that he wants to be enrolled by January, and I'm sure Casey Thompson is the same way. So you're running out of time. You got to make your decision because you only got a few days left before the semester starts. So